Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In this episode I'm going to be doing a few interior upgrades. So this is the interior as it stands at the moment. Completely standard palladium leather in completely poverty / race car spec LCI car. So nothing really special here. Heavy electric seats, non-heated, very cheap interior trim, however in good condition, but not to my taste. Slightly worn start button, and no Bluetooth module and no connectivity for your phone to the CI/CI drive either. So the plan is to replace the trims for some nice gloss piano black trims without any limited edition stickers on it, because the car obviously isn't limited edition, to replace the seats with some lighter and better supported Recaro CSs, and they're also a lot lower for better seating position, and to fit a mr12volt CarPlay compatible interface, which will work with CIC, will give me Bluetooth connectivity and Bluetooth hands-free. So this is the CarPlay module, if you like. This is how it comes in a nice box, almost iPhone-esque. Let's have a look what's inside. So the fiber optic MOST connector, the MOST loop in case you have additional modules which you need to loop, the main harness with OE mic connection, but we're not going to be using this because it's redundant in this application, the screen cable, which will need to bridge the screen to the main unit, and that QR code is for the instructions. So this is the aftermarket microphone which is supplied with the unit, which is the one that we need to use. It will plug in to the special port which is just behind this golden sticker here, and we are going to fit it in the OEM location just behind those meshes. And so first things first, we are going to get the mr12volt in, and I think the best place to put it, it's going to be in this little cavity here, so between the glove box and the actual CIC unit itself. So we need to get this trim off, this off, this off, glove box, cup holders, and then we should be able to connect it all up. Right, so the best place, in my opinion, to put the mr12volt box and all the wiring is in this cavity here. So basically just there. If you look at it from this angle, you can see all that space just inside here, basically behind here. Just on there. I think it's probably a good idea to remove this cage just for the purposes of installation and getting everything hidden away and tucked away nicely. So these and these, I think these are 8mm, these are T20s, and then once this is out of the way, I could arrange the wires the way I want to, make sure that nothing is being crushed. It's also very important not to bend these MOST cables because they're fiber optic and you can't really have anything more than about 50-60 degrees bends in them, because if you were to bend it too much you could basically fracture the cable and nothing is going to work. So a bend like this is okay, but when you're sort of putting too much pressure and you're trying to make the bend too tight, it could break these cables, so it's very important not to crush them when you're doing the installation. So there you have it, that works. Now what I'm going to do is run the cable for the microphone and install the microphone up there and test that that works, and if everything is working as it should, I can then put it all back together with the new trims. So, old stuff, matte grey, cheap, horrible plastic. New stuff, piano black, and it looks like somebody has already painted the coating on the start button, because it has a tendency of delaminating with age. So the best thing to do is to basically take this outer, well, middle outer ring off, or rather inner ring, the one that's just around the button that's delaminating, and paint it, and then put it all back together, which I've done previously. But on this one, someone's already done it, so fantastic news. Just need to plug it all back in. This already feels 1,000 times better quality than that, and in my opinion it looks amazing. So then just got to change the other side, and after that I'll change the doors and the rear quarter panels. Now onto the seats. So I've got the CSs out of the 330, and they should drop straight in, and it'll be just a matter of coating them. But one thing I do need to get rid of is this seatbelt mount, which is only used on saloons and estates. So it's essentially a sandwich plate, which I'm going to get rid of, and there's a corresponding spacer plate on the other end. So just there, just underneath there. And then once they're off, I can drop them straight in. And the reason why I don't need the seatbelt mount is because on coupes, the seatbelt mount is its own separate thing on the floor, so the seat doesn't actually attach to the bottom of the seatbelt. And then it'll be just a matter of coating the airbags out, the seat occupancy sensor, and then everything should be a-okay. If you want to know how I got these seats to fit into well, that to start with, and then subsequently into this, check out the video I did a few months ago with converting these from essentially Renault bases to BMW bases, and it should be somewhere along the videos I uploaded this year. I also replaced the sun visors. So these are pre-LCI sun visors, and as you can see, they're nice and soft touch, similar material as the roof lining. On the LCI cars, they went and got rid of this and replaced it with plastic ones, which feel absolutely horrible. It's cheap, scratchy plastics. So that's one thing I really like doing whenever I have a LCI car, is replace the sun visors with the older ones, just so they feel a little bit nicer to touch and they give that nice premium feel. So BMW being BMW, whenever they LCI a car, they get rid of the useful stuff in favor of some pretty lights, or headlights and taillights. So for example, they got rid of these nice fluffy sun visors and they put the plastic ones on. They also got rid of the light that illuminates this ashtray. They also got rid of the leather on this trim piece here, which I mentioned earlier, and lots of other little bits and pieces. On saloons, they also got rid of this velour-esque type coating on the door seals. On the coupes, luckily they kept it, so that's pretty good. And on the outside, they got rid of shadow line. So pre-LCI M3s came with gloss black shadow line trim, and with LCI that became an option. So pre-LCI, this trim used to be the same as this, and on LCI they've gone to matte, and that applied to the wing mirrors as well. So I've replaced the wing mirrors also with pre-LCI ones. These are electric folding and dimming, so they make quite a nice difference, and you can now fold them on the key. And obviously they dim as well whenever there's a very bright light behind you. So nice little touch there. The fact that it doesn't quite match the matte gutter trim doesn't really bother me, as long as the actual wing mirror base plates are nice and glossy. I really like that. Right, so here we are then. Seats fitted, interior trims replaced, CarPlay mr12volt installed, little cheeky camera mount on the back of the Recaros, and overall it feels fantastic. The seats are a lot more supportive and they sit a lot lower than the original electric seats, which is the main thing for people who are taller than average, and I fall into that category. I'm very happy with these mounts. If you're interested how I got the seats to fit into the E9X, have a look at the video I did on them when I converted them from Renault seats to BMW using brackets essentially. And initially I fitted these seats into my E90 330i, and then once I started using the M3 as a track car, I moved them over into this car. The trim itself, I'm super pleased with it. I love the piano black trim. I really didn't like the grey that was there before. The center console on the M3 is leather, so that's not part of the trim set. That remains leather because it has these buttons in there, which is specific to the M3. And on pre-LCIs, this surround is also leather. And because my car is LCI, it was grey, because BMW decided to cost save on the bit of leather and make this part of the trim set. So I also bought this from a pre-LCI car and replaced the grey bit, which was here, which was just a horrible grey satin plastic in my opinion. So now then, the only palladium pieces left are the door cards and the centre armrest and the rear seats, which are still in great condition, but I don't use them. So I think eventually what's going to end up happening is we're going to go for half cage, rear seat delete. I'll replace the armrest with a black one, and I might leave the door cards in, because I think if it's just the door cards and everything else is black, it will look acceptable. Or I may think about replacing them potentially with some carbon fibre ones, just to reduce the weight a little bit. But for now, the interior is done. I'm very pleased with the CarPlay. I've come across the Chinesium cheap ones off of Alibaba, AliExpress, CarPlays before, which had a terrible sound quality and they didn't work very well, where mr12volt works an absolute treat, and the sound quality from it is fantastic. It works every time. So that's all there, all done. Next up will be the rear seats and the center console, and a few other bits and pieces outside of the interior. But as far as the interior is concerned, for now, this is where I draw the line under it. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you again in the next one. Take care.